ionized or squared by ion. So that's what the silent C is. Ted Carpenter wrote an essay years later in the 90s describing his life with McLuhan, and he titled it The Not So Silent C, because he talked about how he objected on Jesus Christ, man.
I got that on film, Randy.
Just get that on tape, Bob, going, Jesus Christ, Randy.
What are you doing?
And the people will hear this gagging.
It's hot.
Silence.
Talk while you're choking. The not so
Silent C. That was too much of a shift for Randy. She just started out saying silent C, and it becomes not so silent C. Oh, I can't make that shift. But he was complaining about McLuhan being exploited by the media, and McLuhan, he thought, being too dumb to handle the media. But it wasn't really that case. So he said the not so silent C. And if you don't know that McLuhan quoted this all the time, you don't know what Carpenter was referring to. But I knew, and I'm telling you, and it's on tape for the record.
So what was it again?
The silent C would be the post-verbal, post-audio, tactile, electronic world that came in starting with the telegraph.
Okay.
And so Coleridge, he's referring to the Sargasso Sea that the ancient mariners wandered into, with all that debris or something. I think it's the Sargasso Sea. But he and Ted, they were the first that ever burst. They created the new ground for ion because they were first to see the new environment.
Spinning his way also to see.
Yes, that's the book version of what was coming, but Joyce, according to our conversation through ion, didn't fully understand what he was doing. So, but his work did. The language, the social more itself.
So he sort of like channel it.
You could say
Joyce.
that. He struggled with it. He erased it, edited it, changed it according to his understandings of what he thought he was doing. And he always was in agony about whether it was even real what he was doing. Was he ruining literature? Was he really making a masterpiece?
He was really just doing it. He didn't really have a lot of thought.
He had made the greatest novel, Ulysses. So what do you do after that? And so he started studying the effects of radio and electric media on people. And he writes this. You can see it in his notes. It's incredible. He talks about the various phases, and the last one is transcendence or something. ESP. He saw that electronic, what I call cloning of ESP, was what the electric media were going to do. We've been living in an ESP environment for since television. You can say radio, but at least television. So what this is, dedicated to everyone. I made this after I stopped being at CKLN in August '91. Dedicated to everyone, and I made this. It got published like in January '92. Self-published, Vanity Press, right? Dedicated to everyone at CKLN FM, audience included. It's rather esoteric.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I'm dedicating it to the staff at CKLN. Audience included, who auditioned to be my understudy, and to, of course, inevitably, perhaps, Connie. I'm committing what I'm dedicating it to Carolyn. It's inevitable, of course, but perhaps, it's a quadrimetric statement. So it's dedicated to everyone, audience included, who auditioned. Now, that would be whoever tried to be Bob or imitate me or learn or accomplish or find meaning in what I was doing and then claim they were going to take over, who auditioned to be my understudy and also to Carol. And then the quote, the fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrows followed free. We were the first that ever burst into that silent sea. The furrows referred to furry lymph. All right? So the fair breeze blew, that would be the talk show and the bullshit that we talked at the audience for 4 fucking years. And the white foam flew, that would be the spittle. Furrows followed Bob free, the furry lymph. That would be the holy offices plus anybody in the audience who started to get megalomaniac and think they were ascending and act out the furry lymph archetype. This is all happening, and me and Nelson Thal and probably nobody else, we were the first that ever burst into that silent sea. Well, Nelson thought he was right there with me. And so while we were doing that, or I'm saying those that got into Bob on the station, they burst into the silent sea. That is predicting the buzz that ion gives everybody who tunes into Payday or has a session with ion. See, we were predicting how everybody followed free bursting into the ionic sea. So here's the important point. You turn the page, it says, humanism as a practical way of describing such notions of freedom/necessity begins with attention to the creative individual whose inventions make general progress possible. So that's the first sentence you read. So you read down, and then you read over, and it was a sort of a different kind of writing, and then you go to the next page. Well, this looks like this guy on the left, and you say, oh yeah, it follows. And then you say, well, this guy on the right, he's sort of the same, but he's not the same as this. So what it is, from page 4 to, on the left side, it goes up to about 76. So up to 74 is Lyndon LaRouche. Quotes from Lyndon LaRouche, trying to cover the range of his polygon.
On that side.
On the left side. So then, what are you laughing about, Randy?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's a problem. You think it's nothing.
Pay attention, Randy.
She's trying to photobomb my video. That's what she's trying to do.
We're getting this on tape, man. So then on the right side, great quotes covering his whole range of his good, interesting thought. 5 up to 47.
That's what the black marks are about?
No, we'll get to that. So up to 47 on the right side is all McLuhan stuff. So basically, you got LaRouche and McLuhan having a dialogue in the first part of the book. Now LaRouche goes further. He's the most hated guy, but he gets the most face time.
Airspace.
Yeah, airspace. So then on page 49, William Irwin Thompson starts on the right, and it goes all the way to about 73. And the last quote from Thompson is, "We slay with technology and save the victim with art." So that's a quote from Thompson on the right side.
Say it again.
We slay with technology and save the victim with art. So great quotes.
That is a great quote.
That is
And it's post-McLuhan. It's including McLuhan and absorbing it and adding something new. So 49 to 73 is Thompson, but it's still LaRouche. So McLuhan's arguing with LaRouche. Thompson's arguing with LaRouche. And then on page 75, because you have 2 guys on the right side and 2 guys on the left, but we're only still doing the first guy on the left. Who's going to be the second guy on the left?
You.
No. It's going to be Croker.
Oh.
The Croker quadrant. But on page 75, you start Dobbs. Okay? You start the transcript that Dave Neufeld made of all my whatever recordings they had, he and Nelson put together, because he hadn't transcribed it, he could learn it, figure out how to edit it to make the album. So I took his transcript, I didn't have to copy my stuff, I hadn't written anything really, so I just put his transcript in for the Dobbs things. So you get to page 82 is the end of LaRouche, and LaRouche ends with, "To oversimplify without doubt, the relevant features of the process of communication are accurately devised by the sender to set up the receiver's state of mind in such and such a combination of ways. Thus, respecting the essential idea to be regenerated in the mind of the receiver, the message is not the medium." That opposite of McLuhan, right? Yeah. So it's great to find these quotes. People don't know he said this. And then you, on 84...
So who said that again?
LaRouche.
Oh,
Say
LaRouche.
the opposite of McLuhan.
Okay, yeah.
So 82, so then 84, Croker starts on the left. And all these very advanced avant-garde quotes up to 106 is Croker. So 4 on the left, 4 to 82 is LaRouche, and then 84 to 106 is Croker. On the right, 5 to 47 is McLuhan, and then Thompson 49 to 73, and then Dobbs start, even though LaRouche is still on the right and the left side. So you have everybody talking and arguing with LaRouche. Okay? I mean, Croker from 70, what's it? 70, where's Croker? So yeah, Croker starts on 71, 72. Croker starts on, what is this? Actually, Croker doesn't. Croker starts in 84, and he's only arguing with Dobbs. Because Dobbs is on the right side, starting on page 75. But when Croker ends on 106, on 108, it's Dobbs on both sides, swallowing everything.
upstart.
Yeah, the upstart swallows everything. So then there's me, both pages.
Dobbs wins.
Yes, both pages, up to 118 on the left side. That's when I end. And then there's a memo of Prince Charles, June 4, 1990, which is both pages. Gives a bit of my history. And then it ends with a footnote. To illustrate how the forgotten details of people's lives resonate and often are prophetic, consider these facts. Carolyn Wheeler had a boyfriend before she met Bobby Dean. His name was Bob Dyer. Bobby Dean had a girlfriend before he met Carolyn Wheeler. Her name was Carol Dyer. Bob Dyer, Carol Dyer, and Mike Dyer, who's the co-host, were not related and never knew each other. Then I go, oh, gotta go, let me know, Bob. And I was writing to Prince Charles that. So,
And they went to different schools together, didn't they?
who? Bob.
Those three.
Well, those people, I'm pretending they're connected to us, but they're not. You got to read the memo to find out what that means, and that's the end point. So so this is a dialogue they've sent, because the archetypal form of communication in the last 50 years is the panel. All institutes have panels, right? So this is a panel, and you have the best guys of interesting representations.
And then yours is coming right behind me. Okay.
Representing different schools of thought and perception, debating with these incredible quotes. And then, now I'm the, when you have LaRouche, there's no name LaRouche. There's no name McLuhan.
Okay.
None of their names. The only guy named, so you know that you're there, is Dobbs. See, so it's a totally fucking biased book. Totally promotes Dobbs and slays everybody else. But you have a great.
Get permissions for them.
Yes, I had to get permissions from all the publishers
Would
of
they
all the
be
books.
concerned that you didn't name the author?
Okay, every quote has a code, Carolyn. Like this one, UMMM 222. That's Understanding Media by Marshall McLuhan, page 222. So you look up in the back with after the number of Prince Charles, you have the index. So you look up MM and you find the citation where it's from. And MM.
My battery's about to die.
I mean UM. So UM, Understanding Media Extension Man. So that's the way the book is laid out. Very clever, very interesting. And when Sue first saw it back in '92, she says, Bob, I noticed that you just sort of, without any introduction, just start. And that's right, you plunge right into the middle. Suddenly you're in the middle of an ongoing conversation. So I think that's all to say about the book.